Welcome to the Newland Bowling Club in Auckland for week 2 of BOWLS3FIVE Season 3. From our beautiful facility here at the Newland Bowling Club, the Cauldron and the virtual crowd watching on. I'm Brenton Vinisroy, alongside me is Blackjacks legend Joe Edwards and Miles Davis. And Joe, we've had a fantastic week of bowls. Well, more to come. 4 games to come, lots of excitement to expect.
Yes, one would hope so. You know, got a good game to start us off tonight, and I think having a game under their belt, even though there are a couple of changes tonight, they certainly will be better off for the run last week, I think.
Pretty sticky conditions, Miles, a humid evening in Auckland
I'd
today.
say, especially with the lights as well, and last week there were a couple of lightweights complaining about the heat. Be interesting to see, because we've sort of some people with similar figures to mine out there who may struggle a little bit in these conditions, but it's, hey, they just get out there and they adapt and they get on with it. So
absolutely.
I'm looking forward
As
to
I
it.
mentioned, 2 games to come this evening. The first coming up in a few moments here on Sky Sport and Sky Sport Next. It is the Hinuera Heat taking on the Elmwood Park Saints, runners-up from year 2, and then the Stoke Thunder taking on the Stokes Valley Vipers at prime time from 7 o'clock here on Sky Sport. There is 2 games, another to come tomorrow as well, so we have 4 games each week over the 8 weeks of BOWLS3FIVE. Tomorrow night at 5 p.m. it's the Royal Oak Rockets taking on the Manurewa Kites, the newcomers, and then it's the Gore Rams taking on the Point Chevalier Pirates, which is a rematch of the grand final from year 1. So let's get into it. Our first game of the evening here on Sky Sport Next and Sky Sport. It is between the Hinuera Heat and the Elmwood Park Saints. Let's bring on the Hinuera Heat. Paul Casey Jr., Bev Corbett, and the skip this evening, Stu Settle. Out of the Waikato after a loss in week 1 to the Manurewa Kites, and they are taking on the Elmwood Park Saints. Winners over the Stoke Thunder in the grand final rematch in week 1. Changes to their lineup. Nathan Glasson and Kelvin Scott will play off the front, and their skip this evening is Mandy Boyd. So players we know we're all familiar with from year 2 of BOWLS3FIVE. But Joe, what do you make of the changes, especially change for Elmwood Park making 2 changes, a winning team, Hinuera making just the 1 change to a side that lost in week 1? Yeah,
look, I suppose they're just feeling their way and seeing who's going to be playing well on this rink. It's Bev Corbett coming in is certainly not going to weaken the side. Bev's been around for a number of years, you know, in the Waikato region, so you know, I think she will go very, very well. Nathan Glass and Kelvin Scott, certainly very good Canterbury players.
Great start from Paul Casey Jr. within a foot of the head. The jack placed at the midway point. The mat also at the midway point, chosen by the Hinuera Heat.
Very good start, buddy.
Not a bad reply from Nathan Glasson either.
Bit of a promotion for Stu Settle there. I don't remember him skipping last year. He may well have done, but I don't think he did, because...
Yeah, he only appeared in a couple of games last year. He was often here, as I mentioned last week.
He was
an
a
ever-present member of the crowd.
Yeah. And of course, Bev Corbett and Stu Settle are related. They're brother and sister. And I understand that there's a birthday in the family for another sibling.
Yes, happy birthday, Gordon.
Gordon, yes,
Settle.
Gordon Settle. He's 80 today, up there in Northland. His nickname, and I'm reliably informed, is Hoary, but I don't think we're allowed to say that nowadays. But because it's his 80th birthday, you've got to show him the respect. Well, I do that. Stu insisted that I call him that. So happy birthday, Gordon.
Pretty handy start here by Paul early on. Bev Corbett needs to tidy this up a little bit, take the wee shoulder off.
Well, that's got a bit of, it's going to take it. Oh.
Not what she was after, but hasn't worked out too bad. Completely moved the head, so the jack's back next to the furthest mark.
Once again, this forehand coming down here, it just takes off a little bit, more than expected, I think.
You noticed that last weekend. In fact, they mentioned it, quite a few of the bowlers mentioned it afterwards.
Yeah.
But another thing as well that I think you brought up last week, Joe, as well, is that those first couple of bowls were really good and spot on the mark. People will switch on now and think, no one's anywhere near it. Look, it's miles away.
Yeah, blink and it changes.
It's moved, doesn't it? There should be some sort of, I don't know, ability for us to mark perhaps where it started.
Yeah. If you have just turned on the telly or joined us on Sky Sport Next in the last few seconds, the short bowls is where the jack was before it was moved by Beaver Corbett. Unfortunately, his second one in the jack. Now, Kelvin Scott trying to add to the count here. Wasn't too far away with his first. Mandy Boyd, skip, crouching down. Interested in this one, just trying to urge it on.
Good, well played, guys.
It's just going to land outside the virtual circles. That's a counter, and that's 2 that the Saints are holding as the skips now make their way to the mat for the first time. Stu Settle and Mandy Boyd for Hinuera and Elmwood Park, respectively.
Yeah, I think in the early rounds especially we're going to see a bit of a changing of personnel because they've all got squads of at least 6, and it takes time. Some people are working, some people, you can't always just give up your whole life, and most of them would have spent the whole weekend, 3 days playing bowls, wouldn't they, Joe?
Most would, Miles. Yeah, look, it is a big commitment for the players, flying up, driving up to Auckland, every Tuesday and or Wednesday. Huge commitment by them, so it's great to see our great sport on TV.
Stu Settle not quite grabbing the shot for Hinuera, but cutting it to one that Elmwood's holding.
Don't you think he's got it?
The lollipop went up for Elmwood Park.
Yeah,
so
but it's a young lad, and maybe his
man.
eyesight's not quite so good. I don't know, I'd like another look at our virtual circles. I thought it was pretty close.
Yeah, there's not much between them.
Have a look. Get the circle up.
Oh, Jo Edwards didn't even need the virtual circles. She has a good enough trained eye of thousands of ends played to know that it is Elmwood Park holding shot. Can Stu Settle change their head here? Now this is going to run into one of the short Saints bowls.
Tell you what, I'd want to measure.
Well, we are having a wee.
Yeah, Kelvin Scott's having a little look. Kelvin Scott likes us, he says. So,
Well, of course he does.
so favouring the orange bowl. As Mandy Boyd plays the last of the opening end of 5, first set. Opening game of week 2.
Going to come in?
It's looking like this to sit down. If it does, and that'll be enough for 2. Oh, certainly 1. They'll pull that one away. So that's
look at that
1.
angle
now. Is it
definitely
2?
2, but that circle's moved.
Oh, here we go. Now you're criticising the virtual circle.
Go back and watch it on the replay. That's all I'll say.
So Elmwood Park Saints on the board 2-0. They lead the Hinuera heat in the opening end of 5. First set.
And they'll be pleased with Mandy being able to draw that one
Look,
in at the end there.
they're just huge shots, People don't take them serious enough. The ones where you're holding shots with one bowl to come, You always say that you win or lose a game on the last bowl of... that's where you win games, making those bonus shots, as we call them.
Fantastic.
Touch it from Nathan Glasson.
The glass man.
As they've changed the length. So they're playing from the middle spot again with the mat, but the jack's placed all the way back.
Mind, it's a similar length to
what we ended up
the
playing.
twos and skips played last time.
We enjoyed that one. Might as well leave it there this time.
Oh, he's not bad again.
And you talk about the skipping play there of Mandy Boyd, Joe. You don't get much better in New Zealand than Mandy, all the national titles she's won as a skip.
Yeah, she goes pretty good. Yeah, both nationally, both pub for Canterbury, nationally, internationally. It's got a great CV behind her now.
Just want to try and get her back in that blackjack
Yeah,
uniform.
look, definitely. She would be, great to have on board. Obviously got a couple of children, and they would come first. But if she could manage to fit it in, I'm pretty sure there'd be a spot there.
Yeah, track's good.
Pretty handy start from the leads. This one's not going to quite have the weight from Paul Casey Jr. Now, chance for the number 2s, Kelvin Scott.
Kelvin will be just looking to maybe just land on the orange, turn it once and stay. Just take that little shoulder away.
You good, Kelvin? Got it.
I mentioned in the intros, Elmwood Park Saints. They won their
There's
opening
a
game.
game.
Wasn't far away from doing exactly what Jo Edwards suggested Kelvin Scott was trying to do. They beat the Thunder in week 1, while the Hinuera Heat lost to the Manulewa Kites, the newcomers to BOWLS3FIVE this year. And with it being single round robin this year, already a very important game for Hinuera.
Yeah.
If you fall into an 0-2 hole with only 5 games to come after that, it's going to be pretty hard to make the playoffs. And 2 teams are relegated this year too, which is a very interesting point to note.
Yeah, and that's massive as well. So that means if you finish 8th last year, you still had a chance of surviving in the relegation playoff. But now, finish 8th, it's good automatic relegation. And then 6th and 7th, one of those is definitely going to go down. Whereas last year, they could have stayed up by beating number 8.
Important to note that they've got a bit of a safety net when they're relegated as well. They'll go into the top 10 of the National Winter Club, and 2 teams from the National Winter Club will come back to BOWLS3FIVE. So you've got a bit of a chance, a decent chance to get back.
Well, it's like the parachute from the Premier League, isn't it?
Exactly.
It'll give you a chance to get back up there again, because it's a long, hard battle from scratch. And that's why I think we've got to admire the likes of the Manulewa Kites and the Hinuera Heat, who've actually earned their way into the competition. Not like Gary Lawson and his Elmwood lot who just got the checkbook out.
Elmwood Park, Team Miles speaking about, holding a few shots. Andy Boyd looking to add to the count, continue the strong start for the Saints. Haven't seen Gary Lawson yet.
I think he's up next week, is it? I don't believe he's next week. He's going to deign to give us his presence, grace us with his presence. Yeah, they are. They're looking. It looks like a big party there that Stu needs to get in amongst.
Yeah, he's got to be a bit careful. He's only got one on the head here.
Plenty to try and hit, but knowing Bowles, he'll sneak somehow through that cap.
Oh, it's given them an option now. He's got 2 on the head, so it's not going to drop a big number.
What would you do here, Joe? Smash the living daylights out of it?
Wait and see what Mandy does.
Oh, yeah, no, fair enough too. There's no point in preempting it now. There's one more to come in.
Yeah, I think Mandy will be somewhere between the jack and the ditch here.
Yeah,
just
trying to get out there a bit of cover.
Yeah.
Now the blue goal at the back there, is it live or is it dead?
It's live. So I think he's playing a yard 2 down the forehand.
A bit of weight here.
Yeah, onto the shot bowl. Jack back to Bev's feet in the ditch. If he's a bit wide, he gets rid of 2.
He goes. Has he got it? Has he got it? Is it coming back? It's come back.
Oh, it's
unfortunate.
Pretty good bowls.
Yeah, it was not far away. So I think
yeah.
2. It was 3. Yeah, the 2 lollipops go up, so 2 more for the Elmwood Park Saints. Now 4-0, leading the Hinuera Heat after 2 ends of 5. First set. If you are new to BOWLS3FIVE, it's 2 bowl triples, 2 ends, 2 sets rather of 5 ends. If it's a set apiece, we go to a tiebreaker end. And each team has a power play.
Both sides seem to have hit their straps quite quickly as well, though, tonight, don't they? Usually it takes maybe a couple of ends to warm up. I mean, we see it here again now. Look at that.
2 leads have been all over it, really. They're starting.
Yeah, they have, haven't they?
First 2 ends.
Like the proverbial rash.
Yeah, leads in particular have been very impressive.
Yeah,
both Paul Casey Jr. and Nathan Glasson.
With Nathan, you know, first time on this rink.
Again, Nate.
Nathan Glasson making his season debut after appearing 6 times for Elmwood Park last year.
Statman, you see.
Statman.
Won 4 of those 6 games that he appeared in. Calvin Scott also on his season debut after appearing 9 times for Elmwood Park.
That's pretty handy.
So good.
That's very handy.
Very good.
You'd be happy, wouldn't you?
I'd be very happy with that. Both just behind the jack, so not really leading any target.
I've said it last year. I said this is a hypnotic game. And here, being rinkside as well, almost like basically we're on the rink. It just gives you a different perspective, but it's even, I find it even more hypnotic.
And can you start reading if they're going to be short?
Yes, I can actually now.
Yeah.
The first couple of ends was a bit awkward, but after that you soon adapted. Yeah. Last year we had a great sort of end-on view of it, and you could pick it straight away. But here now, especially, I mean, weight you can pick reasonably quickly.
And often, Joe, the players give so much away as well. You can sort of tell if it's going to where it's going to go by how the players react.
Sure.
If the skip's interested, then you know, oh, must be pretty handy. Just like that great bowl from Kelvin Scott.
Jimmy Pugh's not from Stoke Thunder's not the best person. I'd love to play poker with him. you know almost exactly every card in his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't. He wears his heart on his sleeve.
He's a dead giveaway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Close here.
I look forward to seeing Jimmy Pugh at some stage in BOWLS3FIVE Season 3 with the Stoke Thunder.
This is one of those performances, Joe, isn't it, now that they're starting to suffocate them in terms of
certainly
that
are.
everyone is there. And you're just, if I'm the opposition, I'm thinking, oh, please, just put a couple out of the way, just give me a chance to get close.
But, you know, hopefully this is the standard that you know, all teams are going to aspire to. I mean, Elmwood have just been on fire early doors, and we all saw what happened with the Stoke Thunder last week, you know, absolutely dominated the first set.
Oh, and we're just about to get attacked by a wasp, which is good.
And then, you know, Elmwood came back and won the second set, and she's back to a tie-break in. But this is quite outstanding with these first two. Elmwood, and Randy's just putting in the little bit of protectors and drawing next bonus shots when she can. It's for fun at the moment.
Stu Settle needing something here from Bev Corbett. Just to give him something to work with. And it goes past their head. So 4 Elmwood Park Saints, all 4 counting at the moment as the skips cross over.
Do you feel like you're carrying them there, Stu? See that wasp flying around there? I was hoping it wasn't one of those murder hornets. Have you seen the size of those things?
Never heard of them.
Oh, look it up on Google in the break. It'll give you nightmares.
I think don't look it up,
Yeah,
Joe.
no,
Probably best not to.
A little bit wide.
I think she's looking for a bit of protection here. We would have wanted another couple of feet. Would have been a perfect spot.
Yeah, sitting amongst all the blue
Yeah, all
bowls
the
would have been
blue.
ideal.
Yeah, break them up.
Looking a bit ugly, any movement on that jack, but yeah, Stu's in a little bit of between a rock and a hard place. He needs to get something close, but he's got all the back. Oh, that's another outstanding shot.
Not far away from being perfect as well. So he's cut it to 2.
Without Stu at the moment, the set would have been over, I think.
Yeah.
He's certainly, you know, even though he's not coming out with shot, he's cutting them down and keeping them in the set.
I mean, they'd be in double figures almost by now, wouldn't they?
Definitely, yeah.
Interest again
This
from
is not
Kelvin
looking
Scott,
the worst
Nathan
if it's got
Glasson.
if it's got the legs.
Yeah.
Another counting bowl. So 3, Elmwood Park's holding.
Oh, we might see a little bit of a, might be
drive.
short here, I think.
It goes all
Don't think
winding
yet.
up.
He's certainly going to try and hit the target. Here comes the drive. Stu Settle.
Looks left to me by a long way.
Yeah, misses everything. So it'll be 3 to Elmwood Park. So 7-0. They now lead after 3 ends of 5. First set. Elmwood Park in complete control. And really, it's been starting from the front, hasn't it, Joe?
Oh, it has. Nathan's certainly started them off well. Just the pressure seems to go off you and onto the opposition even more when you start off with the first bowl. You always talk about first bowl effectiveness, and Nathan would be scoring very, very well in coding at the moment.
Late, Nathan.
And again,
Well done, bud.
getting a bit boring.
It is actually.
No, it's not.
Play some bag shots, Nathan. You're boring us now.
For those who don't know, Joe, you talk about coding. What are you talking about there, and how is it, I suppose, assessed at the international level when you play for the Blackjacks?
Yeah, so we're lucky enough that we have that's an outstanding bowl by Paul. That's better. Yeah, we have lucky enough to have quite a few coders that follow the New Zealand team around, and they pretty much mark every bowl that you play, whether it's effective, wide, narrow, short, long, and it just gives you kind of a
where you need to work on your game.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, you can say you've had 4 backhand runners and you've missed them all wide. So now is it a technical problem? We go out and we work on our backhand run shots.
So basically, and it helps you improve your game, and obviously helps the selectors as well.
Oh yeah, well, it's not a selection tool.
No.
But yeah.
You're saying that, but I don't quite believe you. Your mouth said it, but your eyes maybe indicated something else.
No, it's
It depends who the selector is, isn't it? Do you remember? It was. I won't mention names because there's a polarising figure who used to be at the top there, and lots of people just pick on certain things like that and statistics rather than feel for the game.
Yeah, look, it's.
I'm a definite feel for the game person in any sort of selection process.
Yeah, for sure, and you've got to look at compatibility in the team too.
Yes.
Which you don't see on coding.
Another touch out this time from Kelvin Scott. Another
They're all
high
at it
quality
now.
in.
Fair drawn off.
But it is a good thing just to, you can start seeing trends in your game, what you like in short, medium, long, length, whether your first bowl's 90% short. All sorts
Have you ever
of
had a
things
day
come
when you thought, I don't really want to see the, report, the coding report at the end of the
the
day?
coach comes with a piece of paper and you just say,
No, I know
now.
what it was. No thanks.
But then there's those days where you're like,
Yes, please. Bring it on. That's fantastic with all the. I mean, they're going to. I suppose is it a lot of it computerised as well?
all on little iPads.
Little iPads
yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
I mean, cricket now you can see people's shots, every shot that they've played and where it went. And
Yeah.
Well done.
Nice.
Nice little
Ball
help.
again from
There's a
Kelvin Scott.
nice little channel up there now. Bev's struggled a little bit with her weight, but this shot is certainly lining up for not to be short here, Bev.
if it's narrow enough,
Yeah, didn't quite get the line last time, but
it's looking a lot
she's
better
there.
here.
right track this time.
Looking a lot better
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Oh, get in there.
Oh, it's a grand effort.
Oh, what an effort that was from Bev Corbett, but still
It's
two
amazing
that
to play
Elmwood Park.
bowlers like that and you still end up with nothing.
Yeah.
Couldn't have played that much better.
No, I think she just needed another couple of feet of weight,
yeah. Would that have been just a slight over-adjustment from a previous one, which ended in the
Possibly.
ditch?
Yeah, she's struggled with the weight early.
What do you like?
I don't know what the heat is doing on this rink at the moment, whether it's just freed it up a little bit.
Yeah, if you have just joined us. Well, I think we've got a... Wow.
Well,
We're going to have to talk to Mandy Boyd as she
afraid.
crosses over. I don't think she would have really enjoyed the laughing from Kelvin and Nathan either, Joe.
Oh, Mandy's a good stick.
Oh, it's bad enough last week. It was a partner giving us stick last week.
Yeah.
Doesn't take much, does it, to totally muck it up,
No.
because it's such a precise thing with the line and weight. And we saw last week Danny Delaney clipping the side of his leg
Yeah.
with it, and then you can see it come out all.
Yeah, obviously, just little tiny things just affect the bowl as it goes up, and
Is that too
definitely
skinny?
hitting your leg.
Yeah,
Looks
gonna
narrow,
be
going to run into the short orange bowls. Stu Settle. And that last bowl of Mandy Boyd's proving a bit of a blocker. And they're only taken one out. I think it is two. But they have a little look over this.
Oh, it's very close.
Maybe just,
See, but you see, it
just
looked
the
like
one.
an easy two before, didn't it? See what I mean, though? It looked like an easy two, didn't it? Then they've moved those concentric circles by a fraction, and suddenly we've made the look falls. I think they're doing it on
I feel they
purpose.
should have measured that. Anyway, 8-0 it is. Elmwood Park Saints leading the Hinuera heat. One in to play, first set. And no power play called. So the Saints are going to be winning this first set.
They're
Just
going
by
to go
how many?
marching in, as we said 1,000 times last year. Need to come up with a new line.
Yeah, pretty important end for Hinuera. Just to try and get a little bit of confidence so that they hit the second set running. And they've really got to start well
Good
in the
day,
first set. first end of the next set.
Very good.
Paul hasn't played bad. It's just the pressure that Nathan and Kelvin have been putting on.
Yeah,
him.
it's been phenomenal.
It's been quite outstanding.
Well, that first bowl from Nathan Glasson might have been his first ineffective bowl.
Shocker, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it could well end up being the winning one.
Yes, exactly.
The way
Exactly.
this- the way
It's not a bad bowl,
Look
but
at-
just from his standard he's played.
Yeah, look at that. That's what you call
There's the
it.
correction.
Nathan. Right
Stay
up
on,
there.
down. Fight is good.
Well, they say 1 on, 1 behind. Doesn't matter which way you go about it, but
Yeah.
yeah, you'd certainly rather have a bowl, you know, a metre past the jack than a metre in front. It gives you a lot of options later on down the track in the end. Pretty handy again.
It's been pretty good lead play from both of these players.
Exactly what you're saying, Joe. It's not as if Hinuera are playing poorly.
It's just been relentless with the Saints, you know, from way to go. It's Nathan started off and Mandy, Kelvin's
It's going to go well left.
Kelvin's continued the trend, and
Here you go, one. Over Jack, high.
Mandy's just putting a little bit of icing on here and there, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's. You look at the scoreboard. It's not a reflection necessarily of the way that Hinuera have played, but
You know, you go back and you shouldn't hark back, but you're holding 2 very good shots. And Bev moved the jack, spat the jack out for.
yeah,
You know, they dropped a 2. It's just that the swings and roundabouts in games when things like that happen, you just wonder what would have happened if they'd have held a 2 there.
yeah.
It was pretty much first end, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. And since then, they haven't had control of the mat and jack.
Yeah.
Elmwood have
All those
dominated it.
things
Hey,
come
no,
into
no.
it.
Hinuera are holding shot, and this has not been very often the case, as the skips will now march down the other end.
And if that comes back, that could be good, goodie. Could be a goodie.
Very good.
Yeah, I
Sharp.
told you. So I picked that one well, didn't I?
Nice,
Picked
nice.
that
Picked
line
it
and
early.
went
Set the
there.
ball,
I
you
picked it
mate, too.
early.
Set the
Touch
ball,
it,
you made a couple.
unfortunate not to stay. So
Yeah,
still,
they'll just be pretty rapt that they've got a few bowls around. They've got 4 within a yard here. You know, that's really good stuff going into the second set.
and that's what we've got to think about now, isn't it? Because they're
Yeah.
still in this game.
Definitely. I mean, like I say, whether you lose the first set 15-0 or 8-7, you're still 1 down. Mandy's not. Oh,
Take it, look at that. Oh.
what a shot.
What a bowl from Andy Boyd. Again, just showing her
And
supreme
there again,
ability.
you see, they've had 3 fantastic bowls gone in. They've all got in there, and suddenly Mandy just comes up, boom,
But,
boom.
you know,
And
sometimes-
that's quite deflating, isn't
Yeah,
it?
but sometimes you've just got to look and kind of clap your hands.
Oh,
and
you
say,
clap, but,
you know,
but you
it's
grit
a
your
great
teeth
shot.
at the same time, sure.
Very much.
Got to have a bit of teeth gritting.
We have a saying in the New Zealand team that people are allowed to play good against you.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and it's like that where it's not fair. It's not, well, they're allowed to play good, and you expect them to play good.
Most of the bowls that I've seen, obviously they might say it through gritted teeth or thing swine, but they genuinely admire good players.
Yeah, definitely.
'Cause you know how hard it is to do it consistently, yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of cover there
That's
from
a very
Andy
good
Boyd.
shot too.
So if Stu
Nice
Settle was
finish.
able to change the head, Joe.
They might still have 2 seconds. Oh no.
No, I think holding 2 are the
Holding
Saints.
2.
Got weight, so it might get through. I think it's going to be wide, won't it? So
Yeah, it's not going to change the situation. So 2 more to Elmwood Park, and that completes a very dominant first set for Elmwood Park. 10-0. They take the first set over the Hinuera Heat here at Newland Bowling Club.
Off.
And
Here in the cold.
it's been all Elmwood Park. 10-0. They have taken out the first set. High fives all round for the Canterbury Club. As we take a break here on Sky Sport and Sky Sport Next, we'll be back with the second set action shortly.
been quite outstanding.
Well, that first bowl from Nathan Glass, just from his. And so is the action here. Ready for the second set now of our first game of week 2. It is the Hinuera Heat taking on the Elmwood Park Saints. Brenton Vinisroy alongside Joe Edwards and Miles Davis. First set very comprehensive on the way of the Elmwood Park Saints. 10-0 it finished, and it started from the front, and then Calvin Scott and then Mandy Boyd just finished it off as pretty impressive all-round performance, Joe.
Look, it was an outstanding first set by all three of them. Paul started off pretty well against Nathan, but it was just pretty daunting, just the pressure that was being put on by the Saints the whole set.
Nathan Glasson, who got them off to a great start, and because they won the first set, they have the mat and the jack for the start of the second, and they've just continued where they've liked it. The mat in the middle spot, the jack all the way back.
I was half expecting maybe a
power
play to come up straight away.
Oh, bang.
Well, if you are new to BOWLS3FIVE this year, or new to the competition, full stop, power plays called by the skips, and this year they have a card, so they'll come up to our commentary position and hand us a card. So if one arrives, we will let you know. And that means whatever you score on that end is doubled. Of course, you have to win
the end
the power play to score something.
You realise that it was never discussed how the power play was going to be enacted. We knew there was a card. It was never discussed that the card, but they automatically, every time, want to give it to Joe. She must have the sort of like the headmistress or the senior person there that sort of look about her.
I think so,
We just got totally ignored.
No, exactly, yeah. It was like we weren't even here.
I know. Yeah. I mean, and like Sue's the umpire. She's the, you should have gone there, but no. Straight to headmistress, Edwards.
Close here, Case.
I had a quiet word to them all before.
Look at that again. You're right, Paul.
He's gone very well.
He's been very solid off the front. Unfortunately, this hasn't worked from there for Hinuera.
Again, 4 bowls within a couple of feet of the jack, hopefully this is just the start of where it's going to go in the next 8 weeks, 7 weeks.
That's what we saw last year. It just got, each week got more and more intense, and the heads got tighter.
Yeah. Geez, if they're going to get better, I'm looking forward to week 8.
Yeah. Hold the ball low.
Good.
Okay, you're still
Well,
playing
the first
through
2 seasons are anything to go by.
Go on.
The playoffs have been fantastic. Both grand finals going to tiebreaker ends.
I mean, any game that's a knockout game adds a little bit of extra to it, doesn't it? And those sort of the tiebreaker ends as well. They're like a little penalty shootout. It may seem a little bit unfair in certain sports, but it just adds. It's great for viewing and great for the tension.
Yeah, it's great for us and everyone back home, and that's what we care about. Players here to entertain us in this fast format of the game. Games of 5 ends, 2 sets, potentially tiebreaker ends, all finishing around an hour.
Go on.
Not far away there, Calvin Scott. Just slides past the head.
Maybe a little kiss off that wide orange bowl. I don't think that's going to make that one go underneath.
The balls.
So a couple of feet short. That one
it's
from
just
Bev
one.
Corbett.
Is this the first time we've crossed over? Elmwood not holding shot?
Well, last end of the first set.
Mandy played a great bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you are. See?
Very good, stat man.
I'm not meant to be memory man as well, though. Yeah, when Mandy Boyd was called on, she was able to add the icing on the cake, which was a very impressive first set from Elmwood Park. But Hinuera know if they win this second set, excuse me, we go to a tiebreaker, and they can get on the board for the first time in season 3 of BOWLS3FIVE. Stu Settle has something to work with. His first end, second set.
It's got the legs that could do some damage to this, but it hasn't.
It's going to be a bit of mud in Mandy's eye, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lovely little expression.
So she'll confine her forehand side. You might have heard from Kelvin Scott. He's calling out instructions. Try and maybe promote one of the shorter orange bowls into the head. Obviously having to play with the right weight.
She's just underneath. She gets onto the shot bowl itself. Oh. Played a good weight that if she did hit onto the blue bowl, it doesn't stay around for shot.
So Stu Settle holding one.
If Stu could promote that, promote his bowl maybe.
Yeah, just a couple of rolls, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not a lot. It's just over a draw. No real danger unless you get on the back edge of that wide orange, which if he does, he's quite wide. You turn that up and over.
It's interested.
Energy. Oh no, just not there.
Not far away. Pretty handy bowl from Stu Settle. But Hinuera on the board in their second game of season 3. 1-0. They have taken the first end of 5, second set over the Elmwood Park Saints. Power play still up the sleeve from both teams, not used as of yet by the skips Settle or Boyd.
Just an idle sort of question here. Are they new shoes the Lollipop Man's got on today, or are they the same ones they had on last week? I was just wondering whether he thought, oh, seeing as I'm the man who's on the television the most, because they keep looking at me after the end of every time a bowl's bowled, might get a new pair of shoes.
Well, we'll have to talk to him.
Yeah,
won't we?
need to.
Got it. We asked the big questions here.
That's the one, I'm sure, because I can just feel people in the audience going, I think he's got a new pair of shoes on.
Good, Nathan. Come on now.
So you'll notice that they've made a slight adjustment to the length, Hinuera, just like they started the game in the first end of the first set. They're playing from the middle spot, Matt is, and the jack is also at the middle length, so slightly shorter length end. See how they adapt.
You have to do something, wouldn't you? I mean, you've been without the jack for so long, you'd want to do...
And again, bad.
You've got to try and put Elmwood Park out of their rhythm. I'm surprised they actually didn't even go all the way short.
All the
as
way
far as they
along.
could, yeah.
But just sometimes that subtle change of length is enough to put an opposition off that's been nailing a length.
Good though. Good.
So far, not quite the same consistency from the leads that we had with the longer end.
Well, no.
So already the change in
length.
length.
A little bit of slack though.
Oh, absolutely. They've set such a high standard, isn't it? It's not like these are awful bowls from the leads, but it's not quite as good as they had been previously. The longer length end. Stu Settle,
You draw the shot.
back shot, was just trying to slow that one down.
Still just doesn't work, does it?
Surely it must work sometimes for you to keep doing it. Kelvin Scott on the backhand. He's got the toe tap going after if he bowls, if you pick that up.
What was it that Mandy used to do last year? It was the shaking the hand.
Yeah.
The handshake.
Bit of the flick of the wrist, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone's got their little...
Peccadillos.
Yeah.
It's weird because a lot of them
Mannerisms,
you don't know you're doing.
No.
And it's not until someone points it out or you see it on TV.
Like Jo Edwards, she always, whatever hand she's playing, she steps out
Get it, Kelvin.
to that
That's
side.
too
So
bad.
if she's playing backhand, she'll step out to her left-hand side. If she's playing forehand, she'll step out to her right-hand side.
Yeah, I see.
There you go.
You did not know that? I thought you would know that.
And last year, I think with Grant Nisbet, we noticed that he's got hardly no backlift. Hardly any backlift.
Yeah.
Right.
I just wonder if the, just getting a little bit warmer here, it's just
Starting to tell, isn't
just
it?
quickened up a little bit. And then they just make that overcorrection. Again, they're just little corrections in the game of bowls,
Well, this
Rotation
would
of
be
a bowl's about a foot, so it's not a lot.
Well, this would be the furthest away from the head, basically. I mean, it's the most scattered head that we've had.
Well, the skips have certainly got a little bit of room to move here, haven't they?
No, it really is coming down to the two skips on this end. Second end of 5, second set, that's for sure. Stu Settle playing first. It's just going to land in front of all those, or amongst them all, in fact.
All bowls lead to the same place.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it has quickened up a bit, Joe. It is very warm here. Certainly warmer conditions than we had for our 5 o'clock games last week, in week 1.
And he's added another here.
Yeah, that's right in there.
Now a lot riding on this bowl for Stu Settle now.
Forced to change his hand, play with the yard of weight, land something, pull the jack. Just get lucky, really.
As he 12's a jack and takes it to that side.
Yeah.
I mean, he could pick up a couple there.
Again, that side with
Too
any
wide, though.
kind of weight, they've all been playing it wide. Down there, the last week and so far this week. But they'll learn that as they go on. That, you know, with a little bit of weight, you just got to bring it in even more than you think.
Mandy Boyd a chance to add a third here. Here we see the little
Shake of the hand.
shake of the hand.
Normally when she's quick, is it? Oh,
Yeah, doesn't like this one.
double teapot.
So it's 2
Double
for
teapot.
Elmwood
Yeah.
Park Saints, 2-1. So they take the lead in the second set. 3 ends remaining. Still no power play. Oh, Stu Settle has put his power play card. He's bringing it to the desk. Here he comes.
You've got to bring it
Stu
ahead,
Settle.
mistress.
We're making him run to the desk.
No flips.
No flips from Stu Settle, he says. So we
So
saw a
Hinuera
cartwheel
hits
from
the
Seamus
power play.
Curtin. But Hinuera with their power play. Called by Stu Settle. So if they score on this end, points will be doubled. And we like that. Not left to the very fifth and last end of
Wow.
the set. Almost used in a more attacking manner, isn't it, the power play on this occasion.
Track through the bud.
If we score decent here, we can almost
Yeah, it is. You can
put the pressure right on Elmwood
and
Park.
defend the last two ends, even though obviously Elmwood have got their power play to come, but
Oh, it's bloody hot in here.
just try and negate theirs and screw on yours. And
It would be more
happy
attacking
days.
if they were in the lead.
Of course.
I mean, you know, I still look at it as a
Okay.
desolation move,
Great
trying
shot.
to claw their way back into the game.
Great
but-
shot by Stu again.
But you know what I mean, Miles. It's not like they're 4-1 down going
Yeah,
to the last
yeah, no,
end
they
to play
haven't
the
yet.
power play.
Righty.
Oh, sorry. We got that.
This is a chance if they can capitalise on that good start from Paul Casey Jr. Hutchett with his first.
Always nice when you're playing the power play and you lead, nuts it.
Absolutely. That's Stu Settle going, that's why I
Yeah.
called the power play.
Even though the end's not over by any means, it's a lot of balls to be sent up the
Yeah, great
rink.
night again, Case.
This one could sit on it as well.
Oh, just get round it.
Oh, get in there, get in
Oh,
there,
no.
get in.
Don't fit in it. Hey, turtle. Oi.
Good. Good to me here.
Should get a remote control thing in there so that you can flip the bias, you know, just flip it the way that you want it. Because how many times
If you
do
had a
lose it?
remote control, you
Oh,
could
get
get
it
front
right.
touches
Yeah,
every.
but just in terms of that turning
Yeah.
the bowl over, whichever way it falls.
And it
it's
happens a
terrible.
lot on carpet. I don't know why. Carpet and
falling against the
artificial
bias, yeah.
falling against the bias. Oh, he's just got a very fortunate
Oh,
One down.
Calvin
fortunate
Scott.
slide off that
Yeah,
front.
you gotta sit him out.
He's been
Okay.
working on that in training.
I think he's a bit shaved of that one because he knows he's got a lot of luck.
It's,
Oh, I don't think he's too ashamed. He's you know, because I mean, you get a lot of bad luck as well, don't you? So you've got to
That is true.
take the good one when you get it.
Track here.
But he knows that Paul Casey Jr. is very unfortunate not to be holding shot anymore after
Here we
his
go,
two
here we go.
bowls.
Oh,
and that's
And
what
then no
happens
luck.
in a silly game. Bev
For
puts
Bev
one
Corbett.
down, absolutely pearler, goes
Yeah.
through a gap that's not really there. That's the game, isn't it? A good home though, very good home. You can really play this with confidence.
oh, this could be a bit naughty. Oh no,
found
it's
the
going
same
to.
gap, hasn't
Yeah.
Pretty similar to Bev Corbett's.
I'll tell you, he's a bit lucky there because if that had been slightly narrow, it
Set
could have
the
taken the
ball,
jet
draw the
straight
kitty.
over back to
Set the
Bill's
ball.
bowl.
Draw the kitty. One down.
But again, like if you're playing a couple of feet of weight and you get onto the jack as Calvin Scott, it's a really good shot because it takes it away. Like right, it's a foot 18 inches wide. It gets a wee touch and it changes the whole concept of the end.
Oh, is this going to get the good
This
one
is-
this time?
Shot.
That's what I like, isn't it? Wow.
Well,
Do they just give it to them, just?
yep, into blue, but Mandy's got a play. She needs another bowl close. Here, she's going to be. Oh, she's sinking it. She's
Yeah, here comes
Oh,
the
she's gonna
weight.
give it-
she's
oh,
into it.
Drive
There you
coming
go.
from Andy Boyd.
Too wide.
Doesn't like it. May get some fortune, though. Again, the fortune goes Elmwood Park's way.
Because it's in between.
Oh, because it's in between
the
it. Yeah, no, that's
it's
fair enough.
live.
Yeah, so it's live. That's really cool. Because that was a very average bowl.
It's been two
Two
pretty
average bowls.
Yeah.
amazing pieces
Twice
of luck.
Elmwood Park.
Elmwood?
Yeah. So still holding shot Elmwood Park while the Jack is in the ditch. They've got a toucher just in front. And that's finished short from Stu Settle, so a lot relying on his final bowl.
No, it's just cool.
Yes.
Mandy Boyd trying to add another to the count. Is it going to get around that wide blue bowl? No, it doesn't. It's right behind it. It's a very small window, really, for Stu Settle to try and find, just to grab one to double to two here.
Almost the best thing to do is somehow get round the outside of those two wide bowls. He's not going to do it either, unless he gets a kiss off the inside one and then knocks the other one into the ditch.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a toucher.
No, it's not a toucher, and they did have 2 seconds, but it's just really hard to get to it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, another power play is killed, so that's one more to Elmwood Park. 3-1, they now lead after 3 of 5 ends.
Very fortuitous.
So what's that?
The Saints?
9 power plays and 1 win. Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
And 1 not, oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
One not played.
Yeah. Yeah, not been very kind to the team calling the power play so far in season 3. Mandy Boyd looks like she's going to be calling her power play with the 5th and final end, which is the sort of safety net. Obviously, you can understand that when you're in control of the game. They have been, but you've got a feel for Hinuera from that previous end. They dictated terms and 2 really big slices of luck for Elmwood Park.
I think it would have been a good opportunity for the Saints to play their power play now.
Well, grind them into the dirt when their sort of heads have dropped.
I mean, like if Hinuera score a 2 or a 3 here, Elmwood just have to win the end.
Yeah.
Where if Elmwood get a shot here, game's over.
Yeah.
Pretty much. The only time it would be beneficial, I think, is if Hinuera score a 4 or 5, which, by the way it's been going,
doesn't look likely.
well, it doesn't look likely with the way that Elmwood are playing, but it can happen.
Yeah, so far, Hinuera have only scored the 1. As you can see on the scoreboard, 10-0. Elmwood Park took the first set, very comprehensive. Hinuera then on their power play, very unfortunate not to come up with something. And now just trying to stay in the second set, try and force tie break the old-fashioned way. No surprise that Elmwood Park, Joe, have gone back to their length, which is the mat in the middle spot, the Jack all the way back.
It's been working pretty well for them, isn't it?
Stick to what you know.
Hey, follow down. How much?
Bev Corbett playing on the backhand side. Is it going to hold up? It's not far away, but it's just going to sit amongst all those other bowls just past the head. So still Elmwood Park holding 1.
Bev really needs to get one close here. If not the shot, just to fatten it up. Give Stu something to play to, a little bit of confidence.
Oh, the Jack's sort of isolated at the moment, isn't it? Oh, look at this as well.
Ouch.
Shot, Calvin.
Touch up from Calvin Scott. He's been very impressive today.
Hey, play
Change your
down.
hand here, Bev.
Play tighter. Set the ball.
Bev Corbett will now play on forehand. See if she can give brother Stu something to work with.
Too skinny by the looks of it from here.
Yeah, good weight.
Yeah, we should have used it.
Come on.
Weight wasn't bad, just didn't quite have the right line. So there's that skips changeover. Stu settle, scratches his head.
And laughs.
Yeah, he's got a bit of work to do, Stu.
You've got to laugh or it's going to go around the bend, don't you?
Bit of a wider track coming down here.
Yeah, I tell you, that's not going to come
Oh,
back
Stu,
either.
you need to pull one out here, mate.
You're just going to have a crack at them, those two? You think
Oh,
a
he's
bit of
just
weight
gonna-
or?
he's got to get round that front one, so he's just got to give it a chance to bend round it.
If you hit
he's
that,
not-
if that's not
he's not
looking too
bad.
bad, it's just a bit wide, just
Down.
a fraction.
Oh, it's a good effort. It's giving them a good look for the next bowl.
You like the weight?
Yeah, like the weight. Last thing you want to do is be short here.
Exactly right.
Give it a chance, and even if he's onto the front orange one, he might hang around for shot, which will put them only one behind going the last end.
This one could cause a bit of damage if it's got the weight. Yeah, it's coming in.
What a great shot, Mandy
Oh,
boy.
look at that.
What a great correction from her first as well. She hung out wide
Yeah.
and right on target with her
Great
second.
correction.
Now it's too settled. Just needs to correct this line somewhat. Just a small amount.
I don't think this is the one. Well, it's going to go well under.
Doesn't look like it's got the right weight that he played the previous one. So Mandy Boyd makes her way
Wasted.
to the desk with the power play.
Mandy Boyd, what are you thinking?
Oh, Joe Edwards,
Another one of those wide ones you're in detention.
a hard taskmaster, and even Mandy's saying, yeah, should have played it last end. So 6-1 it is after the Saints score a 3 on the fourth end of 5-second set. And now Hinuera needing to score from all 6 of their bowls on this final end if we're to go to a tiebreaker.
I've got to say, I do feel a little bit sorry for him, and I especially feel sorry for Paul Casey.
Oh, he's been
Who must have
outstanding
think,
tonight.
I played really well tonight. What happened? Oh, we got
Well
done.
played, Nathan. Brilliant.
10-0, 10-1.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to tip your hat.
Yeah.
You know, been outplayed, really.
Again, a good start from Nathan Glasson.
Don't go in the ditch.
Touch too much weight from Paul Casey Jr. It's going to go into the ditch. No, it holds its way up somehow. Defies the
It held its
odds.
breath. I was holding my breath there just to see if it would hold it up, but
Yeah, I think the idea of these first 4 bowls is something similar to what Paul's just played, and then Stu rams it in with his last for 6.
Yeah, well, that's what I hope, isn't it? You don't want to be around the head because there's already too many orange bowls around there. One, you're about to have another one, I think, from Nathan Glasson, joining the party in our virtual
have you
circles.
done that sort of thing before? Have you played that sort of tactic? If you look and you've
definitely.
been down, you think, right, I'm going to go for it. This is my only chance. I'm going to set up a separate head.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then take the jack with it
Try
on
and
my
play,
last
try
one.
and play
Yeah.
it with your last. There's also been cases on the respot where you've been...
That's flying.
Yeah, he's trying to pot it. He's trying to shove it in.
Oh.
And he has.
And he
And he's
has
done it.
touch it, so that stays live.
There's
The
been
jack's in the ditch.
where you're holding shot, where the jack is, and you've got last bowl, but you're holding 4 on the spot. So you try and kill it,
Yeah.
even if you're holding it,
Yeah.
to gain the 4. If you're down, you know, it's just so
Yeah,
much thinking.
There is. I know, too much for me. It's giving me a brain ache
Oh,
already.
yeah.
Now, this is fascinating now, because this is a tough one. When you
Yeah, drawing to the ditch is a different skill.
always reminds me, I can remember, I can't remember how many years ago, decades ago, watching David Bryant take his
That's the
last
ball, you
bowl
beat it.
with his pipe in his
Beat that
mouth,
ball.
and his last bowl,
Come on.
and the jack was literally like a bowl's and a quarter's width away from the ditch, and he managed to sit it round behind it without going in the ditch. It was, I get goosebumps just thinking about
Yeah.
it now. Unbelievable. What a player.
The guy was playing where the winning prize was a car,
Did it, Calvin?
and he sat it on the plinth, sat it on the wood. For shot, for game.
Unfortunately, they're Bev Corbett well short and wide with their first bowl. Now really needing those orange bowls to somehow find their way into the ditch and not be in play to still be a chance here of picking up that miracle 6.
Look, yeah, no, I don't think There's a chance.
There we go, one. Beat the
Yes,
last
I
ball.
do.
Is that far out?
I'm just talking to the people in the background there, and I haven't got a mute button like you've got when you want to have a chat to the production boss. Someone's just about to get their car towed or run over or...
So if you
What
are
kind
in
of
the
car?
Newland
It's a
Bowls Club
Toyota.
vicinity and you've got a Toyota, please move it.
Yeah, I have got a Toyota, but it's not that number plate. Not unless my number plate's been nicked and swapped. Although my car was slightly in the way, blocking the outside broadcasting vans from getting out.
You double
I
check.
thought they would be game before I go. They worked too hard.
Oh, you want me to hit it?
Good second bowl there by Bev Corbett, although she has made a bit of
So
a
what-
target for
what
Mandy
do you-
Boyd to have a go at.
Mandy's going to try and hit the toucher.
Yeah, she's-
Hit the toucher. She's a bit wide. She's got both shot bowls. Nope.
Driving hasn't been that good today, has it? Apart from the sort of semi-drive from Paul Casey before. We'll tuck this one in here. This looks all right if this stays up. Come on, breathe in. Stop. No.
It's going to stay up.
Oh,
It's all right.
Oh, there's a bit of a lip there.
Pardon?
Comes back
Well,
up
we
onto
found
its-
that last
yeah.
year in the up here. Last year it started to do that.
Yeah.
Target remains for Mandy Boyd,
Nope.
but
Nope.
again, missing. Runs into the toucher in the ditch. So they're holding 4 here, and this has been quite a fine effort by Hinuera.
It's going to run out of steam, isn't it? It's going to just run out of steam.
Yeah, it's not going to count, but a very fine effort. It should be 4, 3 in fact, 3 to the Hinuera heat. So on the
Good effort
power
there,
play
Steve.
for Elmwood Park Saints, but very fine effort from Hinuera. So 6-4 it finishes. Saints favour in the second set, and they win in straight sets over the Hinuera heat. Elmwood Park Saints took the first 10-0. And the second, 6-4, and still no team has been able to score in their power play. Just one successful power play so far in BOWLS3FIVE. We'll be joined, hope, by Calvin Scott from the Elmwood Park Saints very shortly. He and Mandy Boyd just discussing their final few moments, carrying the bowls off the rink here. The Elmwood Park Saints are 2-0 to start BOWLS3FIVE Season 3, as we are joined now by Calvin Scott. If you can hold that microphone there for me, Calvin. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Pretty impressive performance all round.
Yeah, it was a pretty solid start, I thought, from us. Especially the first set, we played really well, and we got a bit of luck in the second set.
A bit of luck.
But
You sold your soul with that couple of those shots, mate. God, blimey.
that's the game. You know, you try
It
to
is.
you try to hide a little bit when you play something like that. But you know, like I got a bit of luck. Next bowl, I played a good bowl and got nothing out of
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's the game. So yeah, no, we're overall we're pretty happy with tonight. You know, that's like last week I thought our boys were a bit scratchy for how they've been playing, but you've only got to beat the opposition at the end of the day.
Nathan was on fire, wasn't he, off,
Yeah,
off the front there? Has he been playing well down in Christchurch and locally? Because
Well-
he looked like he's in form.
Yeah, to be fair, Nathan's partner's or wife's pregnant, so he's not actually playing a lot this year. Obviously,
Maybe she should be more pregnant more often the way he's playing.
yeah, maybe he should. A couple of weeks ago, Nathan played very well as well in the Canterbury Fours, so yeah, he's off to a solid start for the year, and unfortunately he's unavailable for Canterbury as well, so he'll be a big loss to us and the team. A lot of experience now for a young man, so yeah,
And-
we're going to miss him.
And for you as well, Calvin, we've got some highlights of the performances for Elmwood Park Saints today. You were very consistent, seemed like the whole team was clicking. You've been in decent form of late?
Oh, not really, to be honest. I've been struggling a little bit, to be fair. I've probably a little bit near the end of last year and a wee bit at the beginning of this year. I sort of struggled a little bit. Probably a mental thing more than anything. Played a long time. It's hard to get enthused, you know, 37, 38 years of the game. It's hard to keep it at the top of your game all the time. So yeah.
Well,
But
if that's not top of your game at the moment, what you displayed today is.
oh, to be fair, Nathan laid a very good platform
but
for us.
you
Yeah.
certainly did play a part in that, especially that first set.
Yeah, and you know, like I'm happy for sure. Anytime you win, you're happy.
Yeah, and to be 2-0 in a single round robin, you can't ask for a better start, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, you know, Gary, his shoulder better come right before he gets back in the team, I guess.
He's not still playing up on that old shoulder
Oh,
routine,
yeah.
is he?
Well, you know, last week he played at Nelson and he only got a sore shoulder when he lost. And it's quite funny, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing that, yeah.
Well, congratulations, Kelvin, on that great start to the season, and we look forward to seeing you throughout the rest of BOWLS3FIVE.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Yeah, Kelvin Scott from the Elmwood Park Saints, who have won 10-0, 6-4 over the Hinuera Heat in the opening game here on Sky Sport Next and, of course, on Sky Sport. We'll be back from 7 p.m. for our prime time game, the Stoke Thunder taking on the Stokes Valley Vipers. We're very much looking forward to joining you then.